Hello, my name is Hajira Ben Musa, and this is my story. I never dreamt when I became a Muslim 9 years ago that I would be needing to make a film like this. In recent weeks, prior to this film being made, I was told by two people that racism surely didn't exist in Norfolk, and maybe people were just being a little bit sensitive. The purpose of this film isn't to dwell or to make people feel like victims, but to look at what it feels like to be seen as different, what it feels like to be bullied or attacked for being different, and how the Neesa project are making steps to support and make change. Let's make Norfolk hate-free.
Hi, I'm Yasmin.
Hi, my name's Neesa.
And this is our story. So we were walking back from the city centre and it was a really nice day. It was really sunny, I remember, and we were just giggling, laughing, and suddenly
this middle-aged woman started making remarks towards me saying, get that thing off your face. And that's when me and Yasmin went into single file, tried to get away from her, and she got closer and closer to us. And I said, "What is your problem?" And Yasmin said, "Come on, let's go." And then that's when she grabbed for my veil and she took it off my face and pushed me to the floor.
So yeah, I was completely unaware of what was happening a second behind me, and as soon as I turned around I see Minha on the floor. So I tried my best to get her off, Minha, the lady, off her, and then so we started pushing each other around. I tried to get her off us. So the lady then punched me in the face and then pulled my scarf off my face and off my head, and it just came down to my face. So I was concerned about my scarf coming off, and because I'm not used to revealing myself to the rest of the world. So I tried to fix myself, and then she had already punched me, and then I tried to punch her back to get her off me, and then I think I was in trouble then, and then you...
Yeah, that's when I kind of came to my senses, and I was on the floor like, what just happened? I saw Yasmin and this woman struggling. That's when I actually went behind her. I tried to sort of kick her knee in so she would buckle, but she didn't. She was really tall as well.
Yeah.
And that's when I put her in a headlock, and I think we both just worked together and just pushed her to the floor. Yeah. And then after that, we were just so shocked. What just happened. Type thing.
There were people driving past us. Of course, it was a main busy road. There were 4 shops we were in front of. No one came to help us.
And a busy pub on the opposite of the road.
Pub. Someone actually stopped their car and took a picture of us. So when we finally got her off us and she was on the floor and she continued swearing and shouting abuse at us, we called the police. So no one came to our rescue and called the police, even though it's a completely busy road. When we did call the police, I was obviously kind of panicking, and I said, I was in panic and I was screaming, saying, we've just been attacked. And yeah, the police took their time and they came half an hour later. It was...
And even then, the police officer did come. She claimed that she was lost.
Yeah.
And she just didn't deal with the situation very well. Like, we were both, panicky. I think Yasmin was more shocked. It hadn't quite kicked in for me, and so she was asking really odd questions like, how do you feel and stuff like that, which I don't think was totally appropriate. And she just didn't seem like she could deal with the situation really.
Yeah, I think what was most shocking was the fact that it was, I think, 5 minutes from our house.
Yeah.
And 2 minutes from this high school that I went to. And I've always been wearing my headscarf, and I've been walking back and forth from this area and around this area very comfortably. So until that day, I've been very comfortable in my skin and who I am and how I dress. And I'm very well known around the area by friends and neighbours. And for that to happen in that area where I basically grew up was really, really frustrating. So it made me quite angry, and the fact that people that I've been seeing, the pub and the shops, as I've been growing up, it really upset me that no one, came to my rescue when I was, in most need.
At that time, I'd only been living in Norwich for about, I think, 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And I was just, because where I used to live, it wasn't very diverse at all. The population of, I think ethnic minorities was probably about 2 families, probably minus. So coming to Norwich, where it's just so much more diverse, like I came to realise that, you know, it's not actually all that it makes it out to be. You know, Norfolk was supposed to be one of the safest counties in the UK, but I just don't think it lives up to its name.
My name is Azza and this is my story. I really don't know where to start because since I've been in England, or in Norwich in particular, there have been a couple of incidents that have left a mark on me. Perhaps I could start by saying walking incidents, like, you know, even simple things like walking in the city or walking in areas when people might just pass you by, and say, "Get out." Or a comment like, "This is England," or, you know, "What are you doing here?" Sometimes you can, in the beginning I was a little bit taken aback, more shocked, and I would just ignore it and get really affected. But it's not the same now. Trust me, no, I'm not the same. I'm not the same person, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes. So when you get comments like that, it comes from all kinds of people, and from the young and the old. And just recently I had an older lady, the one who said "get out," it was in a shop, and she muttered it under her breath, and I was with my daughter, but I would not react because I respected her age. I felt that it was not right for me to be rude to her back, and I did not. But a part of me just wanted to confront her and said, "Why do you have to say that?" Or, you know, but I just didn't want to, and I just let it pass. And also I didn't want it to affect my daughter. Maybe because she wasn't verbally abused, because maybe she's not in the hijab, because she does look different too. Walking incidents like that. I mean, my friends and I we have walking groups where we just walk in different parts of Norwich, and we really enjoyed ourselves. We lost a lot of weight. But some incidents like cars driving by and hurling abuse, or people saying nasty things. It's okay when you're with a group of friends. I mean, it's not okay, but you know, you can tolerate it better when you're with friends because they're there to support you. You support each other, but when you're alone, it affects you much more. I've had so many incidents, so I can't really explain it all here. But what I'm trying to say is that nobody should be subject to such abuse, and it's not nice to be at the receiving end, and I don't understand why, and why people would have so much hate in them. And what really irks me actually is people assume that just because I'm in a hijab or I'm dressed differently, I'm here because I'm poor, I'm either a refugee or I'm here to claim benefits. I'm sorry, but that's not true. And I think, okay, I don't want to talk about personal stuff. I mean, I don't think that it's true at all, because I believe I contribute to the economy. There are a lot of things that I'm doing here that is of benefit to the community at large, whether it's work or whether it's other things.
My name is Kathy. This is my story. It's about my grandson Shedley, who's 5, was 5. We were in a supermarket and I was just a little bit in front of my daughter, and I heard like a crash, and this gentleman, if you can call him a gentleman, smashed into my daughter, but it hit my little grandson, who was really, really upset. And my daughter said, "He's only 5. He said it wasn't meant for him, it was meant for you." Well, Shedley was too frightened then to walk round the store. And I felt that nobody really cared, because we were told there was no CT camera at the back of the shop, but there was at the front, which I think they could have looked at. and the police weren't really concerned. And I went on to Radio Norfolk because they had a programme which I've never done before, discrimination, and put my story across. But I don't think they were even interested. But even now, we go into the store and I am not nervous for me because I'm old enough to stick up for myself. But for my little grandson, why should he be frightened from a man who mostly is a grandfather himself? And that is my story.
My name is Christy. I don't quite know where to start really. I lived in Thorpe St Andrew, very nice part of Norwich, loved it, and we got our neighbour that we had. He was involved in a car accident where he killed someone, and although he was considered blameless, he sold his house because he'd been in all the press, and it really upset him. And he sold it really cheaply, really quickly. And these new people moved in, and from the first day they moved in, they took one look at me and really decided they didn't like me. They really gave it the big one. How come, look what we've ended up with living next door to it. That was the start, basically. Within a few weeks, there was banging on the walls, and then the incidences started getting worse and worse of the banging on the walls and the name calling and the swearing at me when I came out to check my post, or just going out, or taking my son to school, because he was going to school at that point. I removed him and he's in home education now, but it was nothing to do with racial business. Exactly, that was a different racial incident. But anyway, I digress. Basically what happened is it just escalated and escalated. I started getting malicious mail with funny, weird names on it, and things like we're coming to visit you to measure for your blinds, but in weird names that were just weird enough so that they were very racial, but not so racial that you would absolutely say they were. Anyway, my husband, in his effort to try and smooth it over, turned round and told them that I was Romany. Basically, that just went from there, from me being wearing hijab and being a Muslim, to up there. Basically, then they started making malicious phone calls. I don't know how they found out our phone number, but BT and the police traced it to where they had connections in Durham. But they couldn't pin it on them because it was from a call box. And then I started receiving catalogues in strange names, and the banging on the walls continued on and on and on. Anyway, they eventually put their house up for sale, and rather than me doing something about it that I probably should have done and making sure that I reported it in the way that I should have reported it, I dealt with the particular incidences, but I didn't take it further because I just wanted them to move. Anyway, basically I in principle, I just let them move. I just let them move, and I thought that it would calm down and it would go away. But it didn't. Even on the moving day, when this nice family moved in next door, it was like, right, that's a bang. What's going on now? What they going to do? What's going to be their problem with us? And I couldn't take it, so we moved. I just need to find a way to help my son out because of me being diagnosed with cancer, which is one of the things that upset my son, because that was one of the things that they kept on shouting, you know, wish you'd die, wish you'd come down with cancer, wish you'd have a heart attack or a stroke, you fat jippo, you know, things like that. And they've permeated into my son's head, and it's like, well, how come that they could be so powerful to upset us, and we have to still be dealing with them as well as me having cancer.
My name is Mariam, and this is my daughter,
Willa,
and this is our story. We've been living in Norwich for 5 years now, and once when I had my offer letter from the University of UEA, the first minute I knew that I was coming to Norwich, I've started to ask about the city, and I've been told that it was one of the safest cities to live in the UK. Unfortunately, when we arrived, our experience was quite different. We moved to live in a 3-score area, in a 3-bedroom house. In the first 2 weeks, our house was thrown by eggs and stones in a daily basis. It was really frightening. My 3 daughters used to cry and scream every time. It was really, really bad. One day we have the backyard garden door smashed, and we've reported that to the police, but no real action was taken. After like a couple of months, when my daughter started to have their school breaks, they were demanded to go to the park. As my husband was busy with his study, so I just get sometimes brave, and I took them to the nearby park. But it wasn't, I think, a correct decision, because when we went there, they had a very good time. All of that time was forgotten in our way back, as there was a man who was walking with his dog. When he saw me and my daughters coming, he just released his dog and said, "Go."
we were all really frightened because we never had an experience like this before. It was like one of the worst experiences before. My younger sister almost got bitten, and we were like all crowding around my mum, and as the man walked past, he was just laughing.
Actually I couldn't really have any action, because I was seeing my 3 daughters screaming and clinging on me. I've tried to talk to the man. I told him, "Please take your dog out of my children," but all he did, he was just laughing. Then he moved, and we just hurried back to the home. We never went to the park again. A few months later, actually I've reported to the police, but I can't see that any action has been really taken, and I've been questioned whether I think it was an accident or a racism crime, and I insisted it was a racism crime, because the man actually was holding his dog, and then out of the sudden he shouted, "Go," and we were the target there. We were the only family who was walking that time in that area. A few months later, we moved to another house. It was near also to the garden, to the playground, but we never went to the playground again. Even though I had a really positive attitude when I came first, that I wanted my children to go and play in the nature and to get the most of the beautiful countryside here in the UK, especially in Norwich. But I become really frightened, and if my husband isn't with me, or if I haven't got a friend, and especially sometimes English friend with me, I wouldn't dare to walk on myself with my daughters. Now I'm living in Heatherset. I've been there for about a whole year. We never dare to go to the playground there, because we're always frightened that we will be picked on, or that somebody will have like words or abusive attitude toward us.
My name is Season Lamb, and this is my story. So, walking home from school with a couple of friends, down, I can't remember which road it was now, it's quite annoying. So we're walking, just talking, all of us, people walking past generally, then a couple of people just come on bike on the road, just start calling me names, which personally I found quite annoyed of. And well, my friends tried to stand up for me, but I told them to don't bother with it, because that's what they're looking for, the reaction, mainly. Well, I think they're really because one reason I reckon is because at home probably they've been too strict upon, so their parents are really strict, don't let them do anything. They're really, really tight measures, everything. So everyone needs something to do, or something to relax, let everything out again, because we can't keep it all in. So I think when they go to school, some people bully because it lets all their expressions out, because they can't do it at home. They can't be relaxed at home because there's so much really strict. And also it's probably to get, some people do it just for a reaction. So I think if we all did try to stop reacting, don't get annoyed with them, just leave it, walk off, tell someone about it, be calm about it, they would slowly start to drop. And eventually there'd be so few of them.
We are in touch with the Neesa project, and we often go to the social events. It's really nice because you get to see people from different nationalities and ethnic backgrounds, and you feel a bit more comfortable knowing that there are people like you, and you know, you're not as vulnerable as you think you are, because there are many people like you, and it gives comfort to, you know, to know that you have people, and you know, and in Islam we call each other sisters, so you know, they're actually like your sisters, so yeah.
I think having the Neesa project, however, has improved it in somehow. It shows that we can't make a generalization about English people. We've met up with several people from different backgrounds. Nobody is judging us because of the way we appear, because of the way we speak. There are so many people there, different culture, different religion, many activities for my children. I would take my children with having no fear that anybody will pick on them, or they will be just safe there.
The Neesa project is, since I became a Muslim, I have had a different life, because I'm mixed with all nationalities, all religions, and I am made welcome by everybody. And we have some non-Muslims who take part, who help us, and I think this is really lovely, and my life has changed so much. I have somewhere to go. I'm not left on my own every day like I would if I'm just